Good evening. Oh, let the music play, baby. Let the music play. Good evening to each and every one of you, and welcome to the show on Friday night called Music Lovers LTD. Here we are. Good evening to you, and welcome. It's a beautiful day outside, all hot and everything, and Jay is talking about sweating the can on me. It's summertime, but this is what we do in the summertime. But listen, let me stop talking and get to the show. Once again, good evening. Ali Hackett is the name. And of course, music is my game, of course. But tonight, it's everybody's game because Music Lovers LTD, we're here each and every Friday night, laying down the sounds, bringing guests to you who you haven't seen and or heard from in quite a bit. Tonight, we're going to go with a gentleman that's a very, very good friend of mine, Mr. Charles Hardy, who is a member of the Manhattans. Let me clarify that. He's a member of Sonny Bivens's Manhattans. Charles, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Now that you're here, we got that business squared away with the internet. Glad that you're here, brother. Listen, it's good to see you again. We did a show a little bit ago here in Philadelphia, the Springfield area, and you guys put on one heck of a show. What is the difference? And we've talked about this as far as the different groups and the Manhattans with Gerald, the Manhattans with you. We've talked about this before, and it's no slight to anybody. What it is, it's a matter of continuing on with the legacy. Tell us how that fits in with what you guys are doing, Charles.
Well, the thing is, we was with Sonny. We've been with Sonny. You know, I say we've been with him because he's still here. Even though he's passed, he's still here. You know, he's in our heart, and we continue on, you know, through his family, giving us the blessing and things like that. But, you know, it's really hard to say, Ollie, about certain things, you know, especially when you're talking about a legacy. You know, the foundation was laid back in 1964.
Okay.
You know, and that's the Manhattans. That's the original group, you know. And once Gerald came in the group, he stepped it up another step, you know, and then they continued on, and then he went solo. Blue and Kenny, they went their way. You know, Sonny continued. We had the opportunity because Sonny gave us the opportunity to come with him, which we did, you know, and that was 35 years ago and stuff. So we still, you know, we still there and we still doing what we have to do, you know. And I think with both groups, you know, with Brother Gerald and his group and us with our group and stuff, you know, we just continue to do what we need to do, which is to keep the Manhattan's name and to keep the Manhattan's legacy alive. You know, as simple as that. It's no hard feelings toward one another. Gerald and I are real good friends, and we go back to our families down in Henderson, North Carolina. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. You know, a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, these are new guys, but yeah, his family and my family are very close, very close.
You told me that. You shared that with me when we did the show together. And one of the things, and I shared with you, and my listening audience got a taste of that last night. I did one or two pieces by the Manhattans with Gerald. But my main music was the kind of stuff that Sonny was involved in. I'm the One That Love Forgot. I Call It Love. The stuff on the Deluxe and the Carnival label, which is my favorite stuff. I'm not mad at Shining Star and all of that. I ain't mad. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. But when I first heard the Manhattans, I was a young boy wearing bandline socks. You understand what I'm saying? So when I was wearing this, I was you laughing like you know what I'm talking about.
And I don't, but I'm laughing because I know it must be.
But yeah, I love the early stuff, man. And like I said, that's what I was playing last night. If My Lonely Heart Could Speak, you know what I mean, that type of thing. Okay, listen, Charles, hold on. Let me introduce the rest. Get the rest of the gang in here, and they will introduce themselves and go with their question. We're gonna start with Drew. How you doing, my brother?
I'm fine, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Hardy. It is a pleasure meeting you, sir. And thank you so much for clarifying that issue right off the bat with Gerald Austin. That was one of my questions. I could check that off now.
Yeah, yeah. Very good friend. Very good friend.
But
Yeah.
well, do you have what other groups have you sung with before joining the Manhattans?
Well, I started out in gospel. My godfather was a minister, and I started out, in his church, and then I went from there to a group called the Morning Stars. The Morning Stars was under the Warner Brothers label back in the 50s and the early 60s, which I was young. When I say young, my first record with them, I was 7 years old, and I couldn't even reach. I couldn't reach the microphone, so they put me on a milk crate. I had to stand up on a milk crate, So after that, and when I left singing with the quartet, I started singing with a local group from Mount Vernon, New York, because that's where I was born and raised, in Mount Vernon, right? And it was a group that was called Sky's the Limit. And Sky's the Limit, we signed under the Deluxe label. We was under my mistake, I'm sorry, the Delight label, the same label, Kool and the Gang and
Crying.
Right,
Yes.
So we did a couple of things there, and then I started working with Sonny, Blue, Kenny, and Gerald. I was assistant wardrobe manager for them. So we talking 77 up until about right before Shining Star came out. Now I remember Gerald doing the demo of Shining Star. So we heard what it was getting ready to sound like, but it was just the rhythm section in him. Okay. And he came back from Chicago, and we heard it. It was on a cassette tape, and we heard it, So I was so happy about that, because after I had left and I came back to raise my daughter, it was where I said, wow, they just went on, and next thing you know, they got the Grammy for that song and stuff like that, man. And then I got a call from Sonny. It was like maybe in 88, 89. And I knew Gerald had left the group already, because the first album was out at that time, and he said, Charlie boy, he said, look, man, he said, we're gonna need some people to come in. You still singing? I was doing studio work, do the studio session work and stuff like that. So I said, yeah, I'm still singing. He said, look, come on over and audition, So I brung another gentleman that's in the group with us now, Harsey Hemphill. Now, Harsey and I sang together back when we talking about the quartet days. Okay. So he was 5, I was 7 at the time when we were singing together. You see, so I'm 66. He'll be 64 in September. So that's how long we've been partners. Okay. So yeah, so you talking about 59 years, 60 years, man. So,
you and I are the same age, man. Thank you.
Wow. So that's my, that's my brother there, and we got in, we auditioned for Sonny, and hey, we just kept on going, But when Sonny got sick, it was really something, man, because it really hurt me personally, because I was very close to him, and he had took me under his wing, and I was like, oh wow. But when his family called me down to the house after the funeral and everything, and we sat down and we told him, said, Charlie, look, he wants you to continue on. If you don't want to, you let us know and we'll stop. I said, no, if this is what he wants, go ahead. Come on, let's do this, man. So when we're here right now, so that's a good
story. That's a great story, man. Good question, Drew. Good question. Good question. Yeah. Good question. I know that there was no question about you continuing on, Charles, because it's my understanding that once you guys kept moving, you got a whole box full of Band Lounge socks, and you were able to stand up on the stage by yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
All right. Let's go over to Jay. Jay, how you doing, my brother? Good evening.
Yeah. Mr. Hardy.
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
I always thought your group was a classy group, always impeccably dressed. And that song, I'm the One Love Forgot, it's a classic. Because that was made before my pre-teen years, and they played it well into my teen years. So
okay.
And your songs, they always told a nice story,
Yeah. They were song tellers. That's one thing I can say, and I'm so happy about that. Sonny, Blue, Kenny, Gerald, Smitty, Richard, all of them, they wrote from the heart, but it was always about stories, things that had happened or things that they had seen, and they just put it together, man. And I mean, to me, they're one of the groups that everybody in there can write. And that's
Yeah.
very odd because some groups you only got one writer, sometimes you got an outside writer that writing for the group, but to have members that can write songs, and I'm talking about not just any song, I'm talking about songs that are hits, and that's a good thing, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate that so much, man.
Good question, Jay. Let's pop over to Diane, see what she's got to say. Diane, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Hardy. My name is Diane Parker. Faison Parker. Lord Jesus, I can't even remember my name.
Wow.
But I've been a fan of the Manhattan since Follow Your Heart.
Follow Your Heart.
That was my song. I play that song every week.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember the first time I ever saw them, they came out, the stage was dark and they had on white gloves. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my uncle, God rest his soul, he became a Manhattan's fan. And he was writing me, asking me, did I know about the Manhattans? He's in Germany at the time. He was in the service.
Wow.
So I got records together and sent it to him. And he was a Manhattan fan until he passed. Okay.
Right.
And at the funeral, I made sure that
you played them records,
Manhattan's music was being paid for him.
Yeah.
But the Manhattans is one of my all-time favorite groups.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Miss Parker, the funny thing is they was one of my favorite groups too. And I think it was because the harmonies, but their structure of their vocals was just like being in a quartet. You see, in a gospel quartet, and that's the good thing, because leaving from gospel to come over to R&B was a switch that a lot of gospel singers have did. Okay, not all of them made it, but a lot of them made that switch. And back in the day, the elders of the church, that was like, oh, that's devil's music. You can,
Right.
It was always like that. So for me, to have a group like the Manhattans, which to me personified a quartet, I was so happy to be a part of that. Working for them was one thing because I learned a lot. What to do, what not to do. How to relate to people, how not to relate to people. Stay away from the bad stuff because in the long run, it's going to catch up with you and you're not going to be here. So thank God for that. But otherwise than that, Miss Parker, thank you so much for sharing with me about over in Germany, which that's where Blue was stationed over in Germany.
Yes.
And so was Sonny and Richard. They was over there in Germany also and stuff,
Good memory, Diane. Good memory. Good memory. We're going to swing over to Kevin in just a minute. But Charles, I wanted to say this. When you in your conversation with Diane, and we have some I'm appreciative of the your sharing your personal stories coming from the quartet, going to the group, and what you learned as a sort of a stagehand, if you will, or a road manager into the actual group business. That's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. And I commend you on at least talking about it. Kev, what you got, babe? Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Hardy.
How you doing? Oh, first of all, everybody, the name is either Charlie or Charlie Boy, but please, that Mr. Hardy stuff, man, you're killing me. You're killing me with that, Mr. But I respect that. Thank
you. Charles, you got to know where that's coming from, bro. You got to know where it's coming from.
I know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kev.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, Charles, my name is Kevin Powell, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us this evening and give us a complete history and background of the Manhattans. I just want you to know that I have your entire CD collection of the Manhattans from the first song to the very last song they ever made.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good. Now, when you say the collection, you're talking about because everything switched from vinyl over to CDs.
Hmm.
You know, so when you talk about the Carnival years, which was all vinyl,
Love
you
that,
you
man.
got that on CD. You're saying, Kevin,
Yes, I
which
have.
was their first two albums.
Yes,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I have the very first CD collection. Then there was another CD collection came up of more songs that
Mhm,
was made by the Manhattans.
mhm.
I have all in. I guess so close to 100 songs.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, you know, it's so many songs that they had recorded
Yeah.
that was so it would they were so great, even though they might have not put them out as singles, you know, because that I guess the record company, you know, they only
They
gonna
make
put
that
out so many,
decision,
yeah,
right?
you know.
Yeah.
So, but you know, they had great songs, man, great songs, you know.
Good comment, Kev. Let's move over to the professor now. See what she has to say. Good evening, professor.
Good evening, Charlie boy.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very
Thank you
well,
for
thank you.
joining us.
Oh yeah.
Um, did Sonny ever state to you whether or not he expected the group to reach the level of success that they did?
Ooh, good question.
That's a good question. Um, he never mentioned that, you know, but I think in his heart he knew exactly what all of them collectively was capable of doing. Okay, from the time they started until the time Smitty passed away, Gerald came in the group. Richard left the group to become a Muslim minister. Then Gerald left the group to do a solo project, and Richard passed away at that time when Gerald left. But Richard wasn't with the group at the time; he had left already. You see, so and you know, and then Blue and Kenny leaving, and then all of them passing away like right in succession.
Hmm.
Okay, Sonny passed away December 3rd, 2014. 6 days later, December 9th, Blue passed away. Okay, same year. Okay, 2 months later, 17th of February, Kenny passed away. The last original member. You see, Smitty passed away the 16th of December back in 1970, and Richard passed away on the 7th of December
Wow.
in
Wow.
1986. So four of the original members passed away in the month of December.
Right.
You see,
Right. Right.
yeah, different years except for Blue and Sunny. You see,
Right.
but I think they had a goal. They had a vision, and so did. And I would be appalled at not mentioning this gentleman, and that was Mr. Joe Evans. Joe Evans was the owner of Carnival Records. He also was a jazz saxophonist, but he traveled on the road with the Motown the band, the Motown, not the Funk Brothers, but he played with the traveling band, you know. So
Okay.
he started his own record company, you know, and that was Carnival Records. And then you might as well say the next thing you know, the Manhattans is under them, you know, and hey, the rest is history, you might as well say, because they just kept moving up
Right.
the ladder, kept moving up the ladder, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Good question there, Professor. If I'm just going to piggyback on that, and then we're going to run over to Kevin or either Jay. I think that, and in my opinion, this is just from listening to a lot of the artists that we've had on the show that I've had able to been able to rub elbows with and talk with. Everybody starts out the door the same. Yeah, whether it's a group, whether it's a singular performer, whether it's a male or female, doesn't matter. They start out the door the same in hopes of making a good record, making good money, climbing up the echelon, becoming the top on the top of the mountain. Everybody starts out there. Now, there are some that realize after the first record, the second record, that they're not going anywhere, maybe because of internal troubles or whatever
True.
the case may be. But everybody starts out the same way. I do believe. Now, you tell me if I'm wrong on this, Charles, but I think everybody does start out the same way with the hopes, the aspirations,
Yeah,
and the dreams of becoming, let's say, the Temptations or
yeah,
like the
yeah,
Temptations.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you can have a group that's as sharp as a tack, but that does not necessarily mean that you're going to ascertain that plateau.
There you go.
You
You're
know what I'm
right.
saying?
You're right.
But
Yeah.
there's so many different hurdles and pitfalls throughout this business, that can hold you. I mean, look at the Temptations. Let's talk about them. They're the best, supposedly or arguably the best male group in the world ever.
Yeah.
Okay. But they had trials and tribulations. They had pitfalls. They had hurdles. So if you don't make it to that level, think about what you're going to go through. So,
Yeah, true.
and just piggybacking on what the professor was saying, I kind of think that everybody started out in the same way. Now, whether you made it further or not is a different story,
Yeah.
and that goes to the intestinal fortitude. Wow, when you listen to this guy speak these words out tonight, that goes to the intestinal fortitude of the group itself moving forward and wanting to stay together. One of my all-time favorite groups,
The
the
Dells.
Dells.
I
The
knew you was
Dells.
there.
The Dells.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we talked about that. We
yeah.
talked about that. All-time favorite. And these guys went through trials and tribulations, with each other, because
Yeah.
even in a family situation, you and your brother don't always get along.
That's right. True.
That's in a family. So the group is the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a little bit bigger. We're gonna jump over to Kev. I don't want to take all the lights here. Come on, Kev. What you got, babe?
Yeah, Charles.
Yes.
I used to start listening to the Manhattans when I was in middle school,
Mhm.
and every time a song came out, I would go out and get it if it wasn't already, on the flip side of the record I already had.
Mhm.
But the one lead singer that you did have, who I really loved to hear his voice, was the guy that sang the song "If My Lonely Heart Could Speak."
Okay.
I don't know if
Now,
you
now,
read
which one? Now, which one? Because they re-recorded it. The original, if my heart could speak, okay, was done under the deluxe label,
Deluxe label, yeah.
okay,
Right.
and that was George Smith. He did that before he passed away, okay. George Smitty, they called him Smitty, but he did that. Now, if you really listen to that song, okay, there's 3 lead singers on that song,
Yeah.
okay. Sonny starts it off. Then Kenny come in. Then Smitty. Now there's a talking part. That talking part with Smitty.
Okay.
Okay. Now that's on the original one. Okay. But when they did the album Too Hard to Stop It, I think that back in I think it was 79 or 80, they dedicated that album to Smitty. And
Okay.
what they did was they redid If My Heart Could Speak, and they did One Life to Live, which was a song that Bluehead wrote, okay, back in when they was under Deluxe, matter of fact. They did that in a medley. They did that in a medley.
Right.
And
Right.
I stand corrected. It wasn't the Too Hard to Stop It album. They did the acapella that they had did since Smitty wrote this song. Oh man, I can't remember, but it was
That's okay.
on the After Midnight album that they did the medley that I'm talking about.
Okay.
It was on
Okay.
the After Midnight album because Shining Star was on that album also.
Okay.
But the album before that, okay, that was the album that was dedicated to George Smith. They did it in honor of him.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. So definitely, these are good questions that you
Yeah.
got. Now the funny thing is, I probably wasn't even living. but see, Sonny always used to kill me, right? He used to say, "Where's Charles at?" He said, "I know he's in somebody's dressing room. This kid is always in somebody's dressing room, man, talking to him, trying to interview him, and this, that, what is it? What is it?" And it got to the point where once we would do interviews and stuff like that, they would go to Sonny and say, "Yes, Sonny, well, this." Sonny said, "Look, don't even come to me. Talk to him.
Okay.
Because that kid know
Okay.
everything. He know
Okay.
everybody. He know everything." But
That's
I
a good
got,
thing.
yeah, but I got, the main thing was the camaraderie.
Yes.
The camaraderie.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
there now.
Right.
You
Yes.
see,
Right. I
back then
agree.
you could talk
I
to the
agree.
older guys, and they would basically mentor you. Now it's all about the money, man.
Yeah.
It's
you
all
know,
about the money.
Charles, I'm glad you brought that up because that was the same atmosphere that I felt backstage the night that we were in Springfield. you are easily to approach. And you knew me when I knew you when we walked through the door. So
Right.
we talked, but you could see that the atmosphere as far as, hey, come on over here or let's talk or whatever, it wasn't there. Everybody had their own little groups, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
they go do the show and then they're out of there.
yeah,
That, I mean,
yeah.
I understand you're getting paid to do a gig, but again, one of the things you just said, and I love that, is the camaraderie.
Camaraderie. Yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah,
that because that's no longer the way it was. Back
No,
in the
no.
day at the Uptown, yeah, you did a show, and after your show, you sit backstage. Most of the artists would watch the other artists on
There
stage.
you go.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
They don't do that now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And Kevin, let me just hit you with this real quickly here. Kevin was saying that he bought the records. Kevin, you want to just for a shout out for Jay and myself? Where did you go buy your records at, Kevin?
Val Kilmer's, Val Shiny's and Lee's Record Shop.
Lee's Record Shop. That's what I wanted to hear. Out of Chester, Pennsylvania. All right. Good question, Kev. Good question.
Yeah.
Let me shoot over to Jay. I'm sorry, not Jay. Drew. Go ahead, Drew.
Brother Charles, I just got to give you mega kudos for being so intertwined in the Manhattan's legacy. That is very commendable of you, brother.
Thank you.
I love your musical acumen in and out, as well as the business sides, man. It's mega kudos to you on being so knowledgeable.
Well,
That's
appreciate that.
you're all things Manhattan, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
But two-part question, right quick.
Mhm.
When you're performing, what is your favorite song to perform, or what's the favorite place you performed at, here or overseas?
The favorite, well, let me answer the first question. The first part. The first part, my favorite song would probably be "There's No Me Without You," because not because Sonny wrote it, and that was the first major hit out the box for them once they signed with Columbia Records. Okay, but because that was my mom's favorite song, and then you got to look at the world, the way that the world is. Okay, and if it wasn't for people such as yourselves, the people that work and that buy our tickets to come to our show, that buy the records, okay, there wouldn't be no Manhattan, there wouldn't be no Temptation, there wouldn't be nobody.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the people, I ain't going to say fans, no, the people, because without them, that's our family. That's our family. So definitely There's No Me Without You. And the second part, the most memorable place, I would say, would have to be the Cotton Club. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. The Cotton Club that we performed at was on 125th Street. Okay. That's the new one. My mother was a 17-year-old girl on the chorus line at the original Cotton Club on 137th Street that was owned by Ollie Manson, the gangster, back in the 30s. Okay. So she was the chorus line dancer, and I always treasured the thing that we performed at the Cotton Club in name per se. Okay. And then she moved from there. She moved over to dance with a group called the Parkettes over at the Apollo Theater. You see? So with my mom, that was when everybody would say, man, you a mama's boy, but you're not a mama's boy. But out of all my siblings, yeah, because I was up under her, and I always wanted to be just like her, which was being an entertainer. So it's not being performing for Bill Clinton at the White House. It's not this, it's not that. It's gotta be that. With my mom, it gotta be that.
Good memory, man. Yeah, good memory. Yeah. Good question, Drew. I'm going to shoot over to Diane because Diane is the type of person that was probably at the Cotton Club. She's been everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead.
Back in the 30s, because you look damn good, boy, to be back in the
No. But my grandmother had a cousin that danced.
See? I knew somebody was there. I knew somebody was there.
Yeah, back in the 30s, she did dance at the Cotton Club. And I've been to the one, the newer one. I've been there. We used to go for their Christmas show.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we used to go up there for their Christmas show. But like I said, I've always loved the Manhattans, but then it seemed like they weren't around for a little while. You didn't hear too much about them. And then when they came back with There's No Me Without You, it was like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's when I feel a lot of people got into the Manhattans more when Gerald came.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the
He's done a
Shining
different
Star
sound.
and
Yeah,
It
different sound.
Feels So Good to Be Loved So Bad. Now that song right there,
It's so good. Yeah.
yes. But
Yeah.
but see, it was a whole different thing. But
Yeah.
you know, but they were still the Manhattans.
Yeah, but Gerald's voice was more commercial, toward the commercial side. It was more popish than Smitty. Smitty was definitely soul right
Yes.
here. His songs, they just eat you up. They eat you up. Not saying that Gerald wouldn't. Gerald, a hell of a singer. But it was where his voice and the producer that they had, which was Bobby Martin from down in Philadelphia. Okay, and it brought a different flavor to the structure, which was basically doo-wop going into R&B, you might as well say, because the Manhattans was early '60s, then they start moving up, and the music started changing.
Right.
And in the '70s, the music definitely started changing, arrangements, production, everything and stuff. So they had to gear it toward something that was going to take it to the next level. And Gerald
Right.
bring it to the next level and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Good memory there. Good memory there, Dad. Let me shoot over to Jay. Jay, go ahead, my brother.
Yes, Charles.
Yeah.
I heard you say you were still good friends with Gerald Alston.
Yeah.
A question I have is about the two groups. Is there any animosity? What are your reactions to
Good question,
you
Jay.
had?
Good question.
It was nothing. The thing is that we was able to sit down and do what we supposed to do, as brothers, okay, as brothers. You see, because at the time, Gerald and Blue were together. Okay, when Blue passed away, it was just Gerald there. Kenny never came back. Sonny passes away. Okay, so now it's just two groups. Okay, Gerald was the voice for 18 years with the Manhattan before he went solo. You see what I'm saying? So it was the thing where the public would recognizes him because on account of the voice and that he was with three of the original, well, four of the original when Richard was there, four of the original stuff. But it was never a problem. And I think it was because it goes beyond the stage. It goes to where our families was connected. You see what I'm saying? If it was somebody else, then it might be different. But with me and with Gerald, I think it became a thing about our families, talking about Henderson, North Carolina, the roots right there. You see? And I think that meant more to me than anything. That we could sit down and say, okay, look, let's do it like this, let's do it like this, where everybody eat. Okay. And you go on and do what you gotta do, you go on and do what you gotta do, man. And we worked it out. And hey, we're still going. He's still going, and God bless him. And I know he wishes us well too.
Great answer. Great question, Jay. Great question. And
Yeah.
Jay, just to let you know, Charles, that was one of the first things that I talked to Charles when we were backstage before that show, because of the fact that as coming up on one of our Friday night shows, and you guys know that we had it before when we were the Magnificent Seven, we talked about the quote unquote phony pop-up groups. You know what I mean? We talked about those. And it's not necessarily to belittle anybody, but you want to find out who you as John Q. Public are going to see when you buy your ticket for the show. Why? Because when you hear on the radio that the Manhattans are coming, the Delphonics are coming, the Stylistics are coming, you're going to hear them advertise, did not blow your mind this time. You're going to hear them advertise, you're a big girl now. You're going to hear them advertise, you're a shining star. But you don't know who's going to be on that stage when you walk in there.
True.
But you've already paid your money, and the promoter's already got it, and he's showing giving it back. So that's one of the things that I keep saying to everybody: do your due diligence to find out who it is that you're going to see. That way, when you come out of the show, you won't either be disappointed or you won't have any negative things to say about whoever it was performing. Good question, Jay. Outstanding question. Great question. Let me move up here to the professor because I see she's itching with something to go on and something to say about something. Go ahead, professor.
Hey, two things. Do you write any music? Any songs?
I have songs. Yes, I have songs.
Okay.
And that I have written.
And do you foresee a book or a movie about the Manhattans coming out? And I'm not sure. Have they been on Unsung?
Oh yeah. Mhm. They was
have
on
been.
Unsung in 2000 and
I go
I
back
think
and
it was
find it.
2008 or no, I'm not mistaken. It was 2000 and I think 10 or something like that. But I have because I have the clip of that. Yeah, but they
Yeah.
was on Unsung.
Okay.
But
So
when you say about a lot of people had asked me about, well, Charles, why don't you write a book or why don't you do this or this? My thing is this, you know, when you're talking about a movie or a biopic or a book, okay, you got to put the dirt in there somewhere. That's the first thing they're going to want. Well, who did this and who did? I'm not going to sell out my friends or my brothers, okay? Especially when you talk about the Manhattan, those are my brothers, okay? That ain't happening. Not for no money. It ain't happening. Now I can tell you
Okay.
about the fun times we had, and all the good times in traveling and the people that we had met and the places that we had went, But when you start talking about, well, who did this and is this one like this? You better go to somebody else and ask them because you ain't getting it from me.
Okay.
It's simple as that.
Well, I certainly do along, and I can see Drew doing it. I applaud you for that because, believe it or not, and you already do, dirt is what sells.
Yeah.
That's what sells. You know what I mean? Whether, be it a book, be it a television show, be it whatever. Dirt is what sells. Who did this and behind this person's back and all that. And it's unfortunate when I can tell you that the music lovers, the folks that we got here, we're interested in the stuff that you're talking about, how this got there and who did what as far as the positive stuff. You know what I mean? We know that there's dirt out there somewhere.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But anybody trying to really, really look for it for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
So, and the thing that I always say, and I think I said it to you that night, what you're doing right now on this show is not something that I can pick up a Manhattan's album and turn it over and read on the back. Or go to Kevin's house and get one of the 900 CDs he's got and pull out the sleeve and read this on the sleeve. You're not going to get this. This is coming from your heart. This is the stuff that you lived. This is the stuff that you breathe. And this, to me, is the backstories of what went on in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
between you and whoever else, Charles, this is the good. This is, to me, this is the good stuff.
Yeah, well, we're blessed, Thank God, that He has kept us here, to continue on what was started. The foundation was laid there, and to have an opportunity to continue with this group, it's just a blessing, man. It really is. It's just a blessing. I wouldn't
got
change
you.
it for anything in the world. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Charles,
Mhm.
and I put this on. I play it from time to time. I played it last night, and I don't know how many of my listeners picked up on it. I know that the professor did. I know she did. But it's called "I Call It Love." That's the name of the song. Okay, the Manhattans did a version. There's a group from the Carnival label called the Pretenders.
Pretenders. Mhm.
Yes, Man, I don't say that it's better than the Manhattans because I like the Manhattans. That's the first one I heard. But the Pretenders knock on the door and make you open up with a bag of popcorn. Somebody ought to say something here.
Yeah.
That is a great version of that song, man. Just the little nuances that they put in there, the laughter. You can laugh if you want to, and they go
Mhm.
ha ha hoo, whereas you guys do something different. And
Mhm.
the young lady that's in there adds a different tone.
Yeah, yeah,
A different tone.
yeah,
What
yeah.
do you know about the Pretenders, or do you know anything about the Pretenders?
From what I know of them, I know they was under the Carnival label, and
Right.
they were the group that was put together. And in the studio, what they would do is not only just the Manhattan songs, but any of the artists that was from the Carnival label, they would take their song and they would re-record it and
Oh,
stuff. You know,
okay. I didn't
so
know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So Mr. Evans had put that group together and stuff. But now. I don't know too much more other than as far as their recordings,
Okay.
that I heard. But a gentleman that was with us um, from about 1991 up until 2015, his name was Lee Williams. And Lee
Yeah, yeah,
Williams was
yeah.
with a group
Sy-
called Lee Williams and the Symbols,
Symbols. Right,
okay,
right, right.
that
Yeah.
was under the Carnival label with the
Right,
Manhattans.
right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. So he came with us in 91 until about 6 months after Sonny passed away. Then he retired and stuff. Yeah, so that
Okay,
was in 2004, 2015 he retired and stuff. Yeah,
okay. Do you
yeah.
still have contact with him?
With Lee,
Yeah.
Lee, through our business agent who oversees the catalog for Carnival Records, and Westwood Music. If I wanted to get in touch with Lee, I would just call Vic Capley, and Vic would give me his number and stuff, and I would get it. But I know he's been in and out of the country, and he was down in Georgia, and then he was in North Carolina. So I know he's all over. He's all over the place in Georgia.
Right, right, right.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to reach out to you. Maybe I can get that. Lee Williams is a very, very
Yeah.
interesting artist. Very interesting. And Lee Williams and the Symbols was a great group. Really was a good group. Yeah, good group. Let me jump back over here to Jay. Jay, what you got, baby? Anything?
He did he turn his mic off?
I'm trying to find out. There he
Yeah.
is. There he is.
Yeah. Where did that song, "If My Lonely Heart Could Speak," where does that originate from? Do you have any idea?
Oh, Kenny Kelly wrote that song. Kenny wrote that song. Now, what it was about, as far as what he was thinking of at that particular time, I couldn't tell you. Maybe from hearing the song and listening to the lyrics, I think he was really in love to the point where he couldn't express it. Okay, he couldn't express it talking wise, but his heart, you understand, with his heart, he expressed it that way, what he felt more so, rather than speaking it to the young lady. In his heart, he knew what he felt, but he couldn't say it and stuff. So but that's a great song. That's really a great
Man,
song.
no question about it. That's a good answer. Good question there, Jay. Good question. But you know what? I say this often on the radio show, and I talk about the biggest person that I talk about in this context is Barbara Mason. Barbara Mason did the song "Yes, I'm Ready,"
Yeah, yeah,
and what I always say is she sang what we were feeling at that time. That's what I always say. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Now, and then that can go out to the Manhattans and anybody. If my lonely heart can speak. At that time, we were coming through finding out what love was all about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We were having the down days. Well, they don't call them down days, where we were falling in what we thought were falling in and out of love. How you were high and then your girl turned you down or whatever the case. We were finding out what all that stuff was about. And all of this music, the music that you guys sang, I call it love. If my lonely heart could speak, follow your heart. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff was right around the time that we were making our moves, whatever they were. And a lot of times I was not a what they call a rapper. a guy who could rap. I don't even know what the hell that is. You know what I'm saying? A guy that could rap. This guy can rap. That guy. I don't know what that is. So I would take lines out of songs like Smokey Robinson would write. I
Yeah.
would crawl to the bottom of the sea and walk the desert sand. I ain't walking no damn desert sand, but I'm saying it sounded it sounded good.
Well,
You know what I'm
living
saying?
you live in Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
It's nothing but concrete there, so you know damn
I'm trying
well
to
ain't
tell
no
you
sand,
now,
right?
man. I'm trying to tell you now. I ain't burning my damn feet up walking on no. But
That's a good one
and
though.
and you see Drew and you see Diane and the professor. Everybody's laughing because Jay and Kevin and we're from the same city. Okay,
Okay.
we grew up in the same city. So, but Drew and Diane and all of us are around the same age, so we sort of know. Now, Diane and the professor have a different spin because they're females. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? They're female. But us guys, we knew what it was like to kiss that girl on the first date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Follow
Yeah.
your heart. That type of thing there. You kiss that girl and man, you walking home and ain't touching the ground. You know what I'm saying? So all of that this is why I love the oldies and what I do. Because these emotions, these feelings, these memories, these good times, you
Yeah.
don't get them no place else anymore.
You're right. You're
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't get them no place. Let me go to Diane because Diane is like an expert. She done traveled
Yeah.
all over the place, been to the damn Cotton Club back when they was picking cotton, been everywhere. Go ahead, Diane.
That's because I'm old, okay?
Well,
But
and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
no, I'm not old. I'm seasoned. The lady said, "Don't say
I
you're
like
old.
that.
Say
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
There you
I
go.
like
you're
that. I
seasoned."
like that.
But
I like that.
piggybacking on what you said about using records and using music, there was that song. It's going to take a lot to bring me back.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Give me
I had a
back there.
please.
boyfriend, and let me tell
Oh,
you
man.
something. I bought that record for him because he be there, then he be gone, then he be there. It's enough. Okay, I'm done. But you listen to this and you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, like you said, music back then had meaning to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always had a meaning. This stuff they got now, I don't know what it is.
Right. Right. Right.
You can't
Right.
remember. You don't, you have memories of, like, wow, I was in love with him when this came out, or I did this when this came out. You don't even have that anymore.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
So all these for me, that's it. That's it. And my kids, Lord help them.
Mm.
Because oldies was played every Saturday when I cleaned up.
Okay.
Don't put nothing else on. That was it. And my poor grandson, rest his soul, he would say, "Mama, let's put on the Temptations, or let's put on the Jackson 5. He knew them, and he fell in love with Billy Ocean's Get Into My Car.
Oh,
He
Okay.
played that thing forever. I had to hide. I had to hide it. But see,
well,
but back then you had songs that you still remember now.
Yeah.
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 You remember now.
Yeah.
And then to go and see these groups now that they're bringing them back out again is amazing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. Only thing is
Yeah.
down here in Florida, they don't have it.
Right.
Okay. They don't have
Listen, I'm going to throw out a challenge to everybody that's on the line. Obviously, and Charles, if you got one too, we'll come to you last. But
Okay.
but this is a question that I'm asking you, and Diane just brought this up, which is really good. And Diane, I'm gonna start with you. In your relationships growing up, was there somebody that you told listen to this record because that's what you felt that particular record? I think Diane, you told somebody follow your heart or to bring me back or something. I don't know what you said.
that one.
Okay. So
But it
there
was other songs, like oh my goodness, Born to Love You. That was my song. I was in love with him. Okay. I was in love with him. I played that record all the time. But that was it. Born to Love You.
all right.
Yes,
Diane's got Born to Love You. Come on, Jay. Let's move and see what you got here. What song was it for you, bro?
Still by the Commodores.
Still by the Commodores?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now
Yeah.
how did that relate to the relationship still?
Well, I mean, we we broke up, and it was a lot of times we needed each other. We just both were too stubborn to try to put it all back together, which probably,
Wow, that's interesting. That's
yeah.
interesting, Jay. I never even looked at it that way. That's very interesting. So you both needed to be still.
Well, no, I mean, we still need each other. That's you have to listen to it again.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check it out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, still is yours. I got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me move over to Kev. Kev, what you got, bro?
Yeah, this song I'm thinking about is Body Manhattan's. I'm the one that love forgot.
Great tune, man. Great tune.
I
I
had
don't
a
care if it was with
girl I had
somebody
a
else.
crush on
Wasn't
in middle
that's a
school.
great tune.
I had a crush. I had a crush on a girl in middle school, and I used to always play that record, and I thought about her.
Okay. All right. All right. Great tune, though. Good one, Kev. Good one, Kev. Let me move over to Jay. I'm sorry, not Jay. Drew. Drew, what you got?
My favorite Manhattan song has got to be "Wish You Were Mine," and you alluded to that on the "There's No Me Without You" album, Brother Charles. I've been in that situation several times, being involved with someone on the side. Then I had a side piece, and I'm trying to rush to get from here to there to work. That's my song. Wish that you were mine.
Connie ain't around, is she?
No. Hey, and since you brought that up, I heard like Kevin, I have the Carnival collection.
Okay.
There's a ballad on the copy that I have called "Can I?"
Yeah.
Where the man is practically begging the preacher, "Can you kiss this woman? Can she be my wife now?"
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I
I played it last night. I
Say
played it
again?
last night, Drew. I played it last night.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
Must have missed it.
Yeah.
I love that
It's a great
song.
song.
It's totally different from what Eddie Kendricks did. Beautiful song, man. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Eddie Kendricks and David Peaston. Same one. So you know what I mean? Yeah. Different than
Yes,
both of those.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
different than both of those. Good point there, Drew. Let me move over. Oh boy, are you ready now? The professor's coming in, baby. The professor's coming in.
There she goes.
Now, the problem with this for me is you said that and a million songs ran through my mind.
Yeah.
Different people, different times. As far as the Manhattan songs, I was a teenager when Hurt came out.
Oh, baby.
And
baby.
Yeah. As teenagers do, he lied. And I got mad. Perfect song for the perfect time. But then, there's other songs by other groups. When things was good, it would be like Honey by the Ohio Players.
Okay.
Wait by Earth, Wind and Fire. Switch came out and just,
I want to be closer.
Yeah.
And then the way I felt about that person when Switch came out, I don't feel like way now.
I got you. Times and things have changed.
Yes.
Times and things have changed. Kevin got a question. Let me jump over here to Kev. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, Charles. My other song was "If My Lonely Heart Could Speak." That's one of the main ones I love to hear.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. All right, we all ran around the bush one time. Let's hear what Charles has. Charles, what one song or songs that your relationship that you told somebody to listen to because it was saying what you were feeling?
I don't think it was never one that was like that, because the relationships I had was like this. Hey, you gonna go to rehearsal or you gonna stay with me? Now, if you go to rehearsal, don't come back here no more. My mind, because that's where I was at. I was focused on you gonna don't ever contest me like that.
Okay.
But there's a song, and it's a gospel song, and I never forget one of my mother's favorite groups was the Five Blind Boys of Mississippi.
Okay.
Okay. When
Okay.
Archie Brownlee was with them,
Okay.
Archie was the man. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she had told me, because she knew him very well, they were very close. And she said, I remember talking with him, Charles, and he had pneumonia. This was like back in 1960.
Okay.
And he had pneumonia, and they was going to perform down in the New Orleans area. Well, Archie never made it because he passed away from pneumonia. But she said she was talking with another one of the members of the group, and they had mentioned that there was a song that he had recorded prior to him passing away, like I think off the first or second album. And
Okay.
that song always stuck with me. And it has kept me out of trouble. It's kept me to where I am today. And
Okay.
that song was "Leave You in the Hands of the Lord."
Okay.
Okay. And I always, like I said, my background was coming from the church, and I always keep God first, because on this road, even walking out that door, no telling what could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way
Yeah.
that the world is today, it's hey, like the Temptation said, it's a ball of confusion. You right about that,
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
you gotta keep God first, and if you keep him first, he's gonna protect you. So
Okay.
I always say that my mom gone, all her brothers and sisters are gone now. It's just us, my brothers and sisters that are left, and that's it.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the song. Keep you in the hands of the Lord. Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that, man. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Looking at the clock on the wall, as I told you, Charles, time goes fast, man,
Yeah,
especially
don't
when
it?
you having fun. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yes.
I'm sure we could talk another hour or two about some more stuff. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around the room, and everybody's gonna give you their final comments, and then we're gonna break out of here and get started, if you will. Jay, we're gonna start with you, bro, for final comments.
Yeah, thank you, Charles, for spending this time with us, and thanks for the insightful answers to our questions and comments. Thank you so much.
Well, I
Really
appreciate it. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Jay. Kev, come on in, babe.
Hey, Charles, I too would like to thank you for spending some time with us and give us a good history of the Manhattans. And just one thing I want to say, when I used to listen to you guys sing, you guys must have the best, deepest harmony I ever heard.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Good comment, Kev. I have to ditto what he said, man. That the work with the Manhattans, and go back just a few minutes where I think it was a professor or either D, one of the two, I'm not sure which one, said that it seemed like the Manhattans burst on the scene in the 70s. No, that's not true. If you know about it, that wasn't true, because that was they had If My Lonely Heart Could Speak,
Right.
Follow Your Heart,
Heart.
Can I, they had all that stuff out front. But Gerald was the difference
Right.
when they came out in the 70s with Shining Star and the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
He was the difference. So a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon then and thinking, oh, the man has it. Well, no. All you do was go back and look and see what's what. Let me move over to Drew. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, Brother Charles, thank you so very much for sharing your stories and your musical acumen, your business acumen. I'm very impressed, sir. I'm a fan for sure.
More than welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if Drew says that, you better believe it. He's a fan. I mean, you don't get impressed too often, but he's impressed now. I can see it. I can see it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so
point.
much for joining us, sir. I look forward to speaking with you again.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Diane. Where you at? There you are, right there. Go ahead, baby doll.
Charles, it was a pleasure talking to you, meeting you, and I hope that the Manhattans come somewhere near where I live at so I can see them. I miss seeing them every year. I don't care which group it was. I just miss seeing them because I have been a Manhattans fan since. Okay.
Since the Cotton Club.
No. Since 64, since they first came out. That was one of I'll tell you how I got into the Manhattans. I got my own record player. My mom gave me my own record player for Christmas. And you used to go to the record store and get a bag of records. Had about 5 45s in there. Didn't know what it was, but you took a chance. Cost 99 cents.
Yeah.
I had $1, I would go get it. So I had Follow Your Heart was in there. And I've been a fan since there, so you got to, like I said, you never knew what was in that bag of records.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been with a fan since Follow Your Heart. I'm
Fantastic.
still a
Great
fan.
story. Great story, DD. Great story. Let me move over to the professor. Wait a minute. Hold on, Professor. I can't get your mic off, Professor. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Go
ahead, Professor.
I didn't know what was going on, but thank you so much for being with us, Charles. It has been a pleasure. It's been very informative. As Drew said earlier, thank you for being all things Manhattan.
Thank you. You're more than welcome.
And you can go ahead and write that book and put in the preface that there will be no dirt distributed here.
I got you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. My brother, it's been a pleasure, and always is a pleasure talking with you. And again, piggyback on what Drew said and the professor said, this conversation has been very, very enlightening knowledge-wise. And I see that you are a person, or are the person with the answers to who, what, when, where, and how. And that's a good thing, because once we lose the history, we're susceptible to believe anything that's said. And a lot of things have been said, but if you're there and you know the truth and know what goes on, that's really, really what matters. Yeah. I'm certainly hoping to see you guys sometime soon, whenever you're in the area, or whatever the case is. And if you start writing a book, okay, if you start writing a book, the Music Lovers Ltd, we'd like to get a page in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we definitely like to get a page.
You can get a whole chapter for all I care. You understand? The way y'all are, hey, y'all are a blessing, boy. I'm telling you, it's my pleasure, let alone, boy. I'm telling you, each and every one of y'all, God bless you, boy, because y'all
Thank
are
you,
awesome.
brother.
Y'all are
Thank you.
totally awesome, boy.
Thank you.
And Professor, thank you. I see the picture behind you. The original Manhattans, boy. Yeah, that's really something, man. From that album, but I know that they're just smiling, up in heaven right now, because that's the way that everything is continuing. It's just continuing. With Gerald, with us, it's just continuing. And that's keeping that legacy and that name out there. And with people like y'all, keep it out there also, man. We just love it. And definitely I'll stay in touch with Ollie, and whenever we're in the area, and even if Gerald is in the area, I'll let you know.
Fantastic.
Down there and check him out and stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, Godspeed to you. Great health to you. And certainly I'll be looking to hear from you soon, and anything that we can do on this end, all you got to do is hit me up, and we're there. At that last show where I hosted it, but the professor was there. She was at our table.
Oh, was she? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, she was at our table. The rest of the guys, we tried to we couldn't get to make that show, but I'm sure that they would be interested enough to make the next one, if you will. Okay.
Yeah, brother Drew. I see you going like this. What's up?
Who was that?
Drew.
Who was that? Drew. Oh, all right. Let me get in here 1 second. I think we got about a minute. Go ahead, Drew.
No, just quickly. Connie and I went to see you when you performed in Atlantic City this past February.
Oh, okay. With Russell and them. Okay.
Man, that was a great show, man. Great show. But you didn't sing no lead parts there.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you again.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Fantastic. All right. Once again, my brother, thank you so much, Charles. God bless you and the rest of the guys. And everybody give them a nice round of applause.
Love y'all. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself, and we will be talking with you soon, hopefully, my brother. Okay. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Everybody, listen, you guys enjoy your week off. We're coming back with some heavy hitters for next month. Coming back with some real heavy hitters. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Eat as much barbecue as you can and chill out. Have a good time. All right. Talk to everybody soon. Be well. Good night.